You got death wobble? It's probably your tie rod ends. Probably not. I mean, it might be. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Tie rod ends! So, if you've ever watched any of our other videos, you learned that the first main thing I look for, diagnosing death wobble in a Jeep, a truck, anything like that, is I want to watch my caster angles. So, if you haven't seen any of those, revert back. I've definitely got to watch that first. That's the number one thing we're looking for is caster angles. Second, we're going to go track down the track bar, look at everything, make sure it's tight and everything like that. Watch that video, that'll explain a lot for you. Third thing, we're talking tie rod ends. They're not so common to see tie rod ends causing death wobble. Not to say it can't happen, you have to have one pretty well wobbed out. It's got to be pretty loose to be getting some death wobble out of it, but it definitely can. But tie rod ends are another great thing if you're off-roading the Jeep or you're running oversized tires to always think about upgrading, because a better tie rod end is going to last a lot longer for you. So let's start talking about, how about TJs, XJs, ZJs, all of those. You don't, right now on the market, your main options are either obviously stock replacement, which is lame, we don't do that. You can switch over to a 1-ton steering, or you can go to Heim joints. That's your mainstay. I mean, there's a lot of products out there, but you can at least, most of them are based off of that idea. So Heim joints are mainly off-road. If I'm building a full-out trail rig, I'm thinking maybe some Heim joints. Heim joints are going to articulate better. They're going to be a little stronger, but they come with that added maintenance, added noise. They're, for the most part, most parts of the country, they're not going to be street legal. If we're going 1-ton steering, then we're talking using, for the most part, Chevy tie rod ends. You'll have to ream your knuckles. So once you go to that, you're gonna have to do a 1-ton steering, you're gonna have to ream the knuckle, you're gonna have to ream the Pitman arm, there's no going back. Once you're going there, it's straight. But it's a good situation on those type of vehicles. They work out great. Now, if we're talking about a JL or a JK, we can always do like a Steer Smart system. We could do those other systems. We can do a 1-ton, we could do Heim joints. But let's first slow down, look at how a tie rod end works, and then how we're going to diagnose it. So a tie rod end is nothing more than a ball and socket. The same as you talked about your hip, your shoulder, anything like that. We got a ball, we got a socket, and then it lets it twist. Tie rod end is going to hook out at your steering knuckle, and when you turn that steering wheel, it goes through a steering gear, goes over to the drag link, and then goes to your tie rod ends. Your drag link can have play in it. They run the same similar tie rod ends as your tie rod ends out at the wheel. Any of that play can attribute to a death wobble or just flat out drive like crap. You gotta look for play in it. The easiest way is to either lift the vehicle up in the air and chuck the wheel side to side and look for lateral play in it, because what's happening is you're wearing out that socket so that tie rod end's moving side to side. Or have your buddy sit inside the Jeep, turn it side to side, the steering wheel side to side, and you want to look for excessive play in it. That's the easiest way to find it right there. Now, if we're not getting any play in it, but you run it on the trails pretty good, or especially if you drive like a TJ or an XJ or anything like that, the stock steering setup is really small. We get guys all the time bending the linkage because they're hitting trees or rocks or anything like that. And then that's when we're talking going to a 1-ton steering setup, so you can go to a bigger DOM tube, a lot stronger. I mean, you can still bend anything, but at least it's going to hold up a lot better. In the JK, we've had great luck with the Steer Smart stuff. I've actually cut it up and I put it on my rock crawler, and it works great because we're on chromoly sleeves and then 1.5-ton tie rod ends. The tie rod ends, they're actually the manufacturer for most of your like medium duty truck tie rod ends. So they took those and scaled them down to fit a Jeep, which was kind of cool. And they work out really, really nice. But like I say, I want to see you check out the other stuff first before we go to tie rod ends and address that. And then if we're talking tie rod ends, dude, that's a nice upgrade. Or if we're gonna run bigger tires, it's always a great idea to upgrade them. Then it's fully adjustable. We're all good to go and we can have some fun. So this is a nice aftermarket setup with steering. We got chromoly 1/4-inch wall adjuster sleeve, and then 1.5-ton tie rod ends all the way around. Our drag link's adjustable. Our tie rod ends are adjustable. This looks like a dampener bracket. What it actually is hydraulic assist. So we're running hydraulic assist to the tie rod end. At that point, what it does is it's taking the pressure off of the steering gear. So it puts less leverage on the steering gear, more down here, and you can have JKs where you have steering gear failures and break it clean off. going to a hydraulic assist, it's really nice if you can afford to do it on anything 37 and above, 37-inch tires, you know, and above, we'd advise to do it. I mean, if you can afford to it, you'll love it. Once we get these 40s aired down, having that hydraulic assist, one finger, nothing's better, you can't go back. But regardless, going to a nice aftermarket steering setup, it's gonna give you a nicer feel. It's gonna take care of a lot of your issues. Okay, this is the stock steering setup on a JK. This is actually my wife's JK. She's gonna be switching out to a heavier duty aftermarket steering. Now, let's find our adjustment points. We got our drag link up here, so it's crossover steering. So we go all the way over here, hooks into 2 points, and then it crosses over, and we have our tie rod end. So we're adjustable right here to center the steering wheel, and we're adjustable right here. This is all one tie rod end, and if you look at right over here, it's actually crimped together. You cannot take that apart. That's not designed to be taken apart. We've had people come in the shop where they were trying to replace just this and they ripped it all apart. Well, that you can't take it, it's crimped, okay? So your adjustment, the only one spot that adjusts on the tie rod end is actually right here. What that is this guy right here. So it's gonna be threaded on the inside and the outside. What it does is when you adjust that, it extends it and brings it together. Now that's all well and good, except for if you live in the north. I will warn you, before you think you're gonna take that tie rod end out, or maybe you took it in for alignment, no going in. As soon as you touch that thing, if it's got some gears on it or anything like that, they break. They flat out just break right apart. Not to say all of them, I mean, you might get lucky, but there's a reason we stock them at the shop, just to have. Because they're gonna crumble apart or they get stuck right inside there. So, that being said, when you are getting ready to rip that apart to replace a tie rod end or anything like that, no going in. That could happen, and if you're doing it Sunday night and you're planning on driving to work Monday, I probably wouldn't try to do it. That's why we go to an aftermarket steering setup where it's way better, stronger, better adjustability out of it. And now this is a great place to look at. This is the stock steering setup, obviously. This Jeep's on 2.5 inches and 37s. Obviously 37s, we're gonna go to a bigger steering on it because it's this steering setup, once she starts wheeling it, it's not gonna be long for the world. But we're at knuckle under with our tie rod end. If I go up to 3.5 inches or above, we want to think about flipping that over to the top side. So once we flip that over to the top side, it'll flatten out that drag link. Next thing to think about is we just changed the relationship between the drag link and the track bar, which we've talked about in other videos. So we're gonna have to go to a track bar bracket on the frame, on the axle side, to raise that up and keep it all in unison so our angles are all the same, we don't get bump steer out of it. It works out to be a pretty nice setup. Now, the next thing to think about is some kits are coming with drop Pitman arms. I don't know if they're trying to bring them back from the 1980s or something like that. For the most part, we really don't run drop Pitman arms. I mean, there's certain setups that I guess need it, but if we're keeping the Jeep pretty low like we'd like to keep it, there's no reason for that. I would much rather see the adjustment over on the knuckle or anything like that compared to running some drop Pitman arm that isn't going to be quite necessary.